Welcome back once again. The new focus, Project Freedom, was designed to secure the navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, where Iran have effected a complete or a blockade that effectively halted the maritime traffic and stranded hundreds of vessels there. As a result, the strait was, of course, as we all know, is important as it holds 1/5 of the global oil supplies traffic and has long been a focal point of international concern. And we have more details.
The latest phase of U.S. policy in the Gulf reflects a significant strategic shift under President Donald Trump, marked by a transition from direct military confrontation with Iran to a focused maritime security mission in the Strait of Hormuz. This shift, framed around the operation known as Project Freedom, illustrates both the fluidity of U.S. objectives and the broader geopolitical stakes surrounding one of the world's most critical energy choke points. At the center of this transformation is the announcement by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio that the United States had formally concluded its combat operations against Iran, known as Operation Epic Fury. According to Rubio, the objectives of the military campaign had been achieved, allowing Washington to pivot away from offensive action toward a more limited and defensive mission. This declaration was not merely rhetorical. It was also tied to domestic legal considerations, as ending the operation allowed the administration to comply with U.S. war powers limitations while maintaining a strategic presence in the region. The new focus, Project Freedom, was designed to secure navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, while Iran's blockade had effectively halted maritime traffic and stranded hundreds of vessels. The strait, through which roughly 1/5 of global oil supplies typically pass, has long been a focal point of international concern, and its closure triggered immediate economic and security repercussions. The U.S. mission aimed to escort or enable safe passage for commercial shipping, framed by officials as both humanitarian and economic necessity. However, the implementation of this mission revealed the scale of the challenge. In the early stages of the operation, only a handful of ships, reportedly as few as 2 or 3, managed to pass through the strait, while hundreds remained trapped in the Gulf. This limited success underscored the operational risks posed by Iranian military capabilities, including drones, missiles, and naval forces, as well as the broader instability in the region.
Welcome back once again. Very delighted to have with us over the phone for more details over this very important topic, Mrs. Monica William, International Relations Expert. Good morning, Dr. William.
Good morning.
Let us first talk about calling the Project Freedom a humanitarian mission shape international perception of the U.S. actions.
First, the Iranian-American crisis, if we can say, it evolves within such a complex landscape where military dynamics intersect with economic pressure and diplomatic maneuvering. This reflects a conflict that's no longer conventional in nature, but it's multidimensional, relying on multiple tools and remaining open to various possible solutions and scenarios. In this context, as you mentioned, President Donald Trump initiative aimed at ending the danger and reopening the Strait of Hormuz indicate a mutual recognition that the continuation of the crisis in its current form impose is significant and very huge cost on both sides, even if each party, of course, calculate and manage this cost in different ways. And this reflects that if we can read the Iran announcement that it's studying the American proposal to end the war highlights the extent of potential diplomatic window. However, this opening remains governed by concentration of power and strategic balance, by political desire for displacement, and of course by the political calculation internally inside U.S. and Iran. From a U.S. perspective, proposal appears to combine both pressure and flexibility at the same time. It's based on framework which involve of temporary substance of uranium enrichment in exchange for gradual lifting of sanctions and release of frozen financial assets, alongside ending the naval blockade and reopening the Strait of Hormuz, while entering into a 30-day negotiation period to formulate a final agreement. So this approach reflects U.S. attempt to escape the no agreement, no war dilemma by imposing limited time framework that restricts Iran's ability to prolong negotiations. And of course, it also aligns with U.S. growing globalization. The time is no longer working for or in its favor.
Right. According to international law, controlling an international waterway is not bind to any country. But at the same time, we need from you an analytic vision over how Iran is taking control of the Strait of Hormuz in a manner that would, from their own vision, protect their national security, or according as a way of retaliation, and how the U.S. is trying to control the Strait of Hormuz, either by effecting a blockade or by freeing this blockade that is done by Iran or whatever. What is the difference between the two acts in this particular domain?
Indeed, on the Iranian engagement with U.S. Whether proposal or different initiatives can be separated from the severe economic pressure which is facing, of course, Iran. Indicators suggest that Iranian economy is suffering now with inflation near 70%. Salaries declined from approximately $700 to $400, and the poverty rate increases. So these challenges are compounded by widespread losses across productive sectors. On the other side, this pressure hasn't yet produced fundamental shift in Iran's political position. Instead, Iran appears, as you mentioned, adapt a dual-track strategy based on tactical flexibility without offer strategic consistency. Where one of the most important pressure cards on Iran had its Strait of Hormuz and the drawing on long experience. It's a long of experience in managing maximum pressure campaigns, and its ability to redirect resources and create alternative financial channels. And of course, it's part of its strategy or plan regarding the Strait of Hormuz. At the same time, Iran insisted on linking the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz to the lifting of the naval blockade, demonstrates, of course, its continued reliance on geopolitical leverage as central pressure mechanism in response to U.S. military superiority or U.S. proposal and initiative.
Right. The Project Freedom operation, do you consider it a manner of escalation that is endangering the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, or a way to be able to ease it on the naval activities through the Strait of Hormuz?
As we follow that President Trump declined this initiative, and he says that it's part of the mediator's request. So it's not, it's declined after 1 day from launching. It's launched on Monday, but it declined yesterday. So it's part of maneuvering and put more pressure on Iran side.
Right. On this note, Dr. Monica William, the expert on international relations, would like to thank you so much, and you have a good day. And by this, we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to all of you. Till we see you again tomorrow morning. That's goodbye.